When reached by phone in Portland, Scott McCaughey's affable voice comes through in between deeper breaths than usual as he walks back from a coffee shop to his home. It's part of his physical therapy routine after a near-fatal stroke last November. "This is a big adventure for me, just trying to get a little exercise every day," says McCaughey, a singer, songwriter, producer, performer, and all-around good guy who is beloved in the music community, so much so that benefits have been popping up around the world to help pay for his medical bills. McCaughey's a musician, songwriter, producer, performer with a knack for making everyone he has ever worked with sound and feel better, whether it's as a longtime sideman with bands and artists such as R.E.M, filthy friends with R.E.M's Peter Buck and Sleater Kinney's Karen Tucker and Alejandro Escovedo, or as band leader of the Young Fresh Fellows and the -5. He's universally beloved among many circles of musicians, but not as widely known to the general public as he probably deserves to be, says Contour, a keyboardist who plays with McCaughey in the Baseball Project with the Dream Syndicate Steve Wynn. Although the general public has seen and heard him on many occasions, they may not have been aware it was him. He's done a little of everything: a frontman role, a producer and songwriter for others, a support man for many groups. He's a Swiss Army knife in that way. He's a lifer, extraordinarily committed and dedicated, constantly going at it, but right now, McCaughey is on an enforced hiatus from recording and touring. While on tour with Escovedo last November, he was taking a walk on an off day in San Francisco when he felt himself getting dizzy. The next thing he knew, he was being taken by ambulance to a local hospital. He lost feeling in his right leg and arm and couldn't speak, then spent more than a week in intensive care. All told, he was in the hospital for nearly a month. "The first hospital I was taken to, they didn't treat me for a stroke right away," he says. Peter Buck came to the hospital, and he demanded that they give me an MRI. He was reading them the riot act. I was lucky he was there. Buck is one of McCaughey's closest friends, and the two have worked in a variety of musical contexts together for decades. The former R.E.M guitarist perhaps understood what McCaughey was going through better than most, as had been witness to a number of rock and roll trages or near trages in his career. Buck was on stage when R.E.M drummer Bill Berry was felled in 1995 by a double brain aneurysm. He recovered but quit music, and he was with Col. Bruce Hampton at the artist's 70th birthday party concert in Atlanta last year when he collapsed and died of a heart attack. Little wonder Buck has been advising McCaughey to give the healing process more time rather than rushing back to record a new album with Filthy Friends. "There was a lot of energy there. We had 6 new songs that we were playing live, and Peter and Karen have 18 to 20 ready to go," McCaughey says. "We were going to learn more for some shows a few days ago and then go right into the studio. But now it's not going to happen. I feel I could have handled the recording, but I could have done only 2 or 3 hours at a time before I would have to leave and collapse. I'm the kind of person who is always saying, 'Let's do it,' and Peter is like that too. But he's being careful in this situation because he's seen firsthand what can happen." McCaughey's health has improved rapidly, but he acknowledges that he still has a long road ahead. He can play guitar, but he's still struggling to remember lyrics. "All these songs in my head that I've known my whole life are just a jumble," he says. "I can't play and sing a whole song all the way through. It's a weird feeling for me. Where'd they go? You have to start over again, but I'm working on learning 1 or 2, and then keep going from there." Yet McCaughey's optimism remains undimmed. For him, it's not a question of if he fully recovers, but how soon. It's very rare to see him not in good spirits, Contour says. It's what makes you want to be around him. It's an extraordinary quality, especially working full-time professionally in music, which can be a very challenging and stressful career. "One thing I've learned from him is that it's just as much fun to play in a small club as it is to play in an arena or to play in the kitchen with your friends. The act of playing is the source of joy, and the venue can vary." For him, the venues have varied far more than anyone I can think of. "If you follow his lead and example in any setting, you will be well served." McCaughey is slightly embarrassed by the outpouring of goodwill and financial help from the musical community. In addition to the benefit concerts, his wife, Mary Winzig, has set up a GoFundMe account to help with medical bills, and bands and artists such as Ian Hunter, Robin Hitchcock, Cheap Trick and Guided by Voices have contributed personal items to raise funds. "I don't know if I'm deserving, but I certainly appreciate it," he says. "I looked at the Twitter feed that they put out on this thing and I saw all these people have been donating. It blows my mind. Cheap Trick, Ian Hunter, wow, I just don't know. How can I feel sorry for myself when you see this going on? I always feel lucky every day, but if anything I feel luckier now than I did before."